The journey of 1,000 miles, they say, begins with the first step. The decision to boldly wade into family matters and well-being on a weekly basis has been worth all the trouble.
And it's been a dream come true. Yes, the program, Today with John and Helen, aired its first edition on Saturday, 19th of December, 2020. In a few weeks, it will be 1 year. Thinking about the quality of information and impact that the program has made on the target audience brings a special feeling of satisfaction, Helen.
Certainly, John, and because the show is all about impacting society positively, today's outing is fully dedicated to the health and well-being of the family. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Helen Ongmaodele.
Helen.
Yes.
Yes, it's a good choice you've made to be part of the show today. My name is John Senaya.
And if you're wondering what the focus is, let me tell you straight away. Silent killers or sudden death health issues. Have you heard of them? We promise to break it down and make it as easy for you to comprehend as possible. So stay tuned. After the break, we go full blast. It's your show, Today with John and Helen on Plus TV Africa. Please don't go away.
So, the conversation is centered around silent killers. That disease or disorder, or biological, maybe chemical, or physical agent that is capable of causing death without first producing noticeable or recognizable symptoms.
And top of the list, we're told, are heart diseases, hypertension or high blood pressure, and diabetes.
And before we go fully into all of that, let's remind you of a few of the many, maybe happy and not so happy things happening within this week. Helen, the most obvious is the news of the 12-year-old.
The Bowen University incident.
College.
The annoying thing and scary aspect of that for me is that the authorities of whatever school gets involved, you know, instead of coming together with the
private and public blame.
I agree with
the schools and the government. The important thing is let's have a round table.
But you're apportioning blame, John, and the young life has just been cut off.
Unfortunately.
And that's what happens. And that's the saddest part of
Unfortunately.
it. That
But
this
it's
boy
never
is
too
no
late
longer
for us.
alive to tell us the story.
Yeah, but it's never too late for us to go back and do it properly.
I agree with you. And on a cheery note, John,
Yes.
you know, there's so many sad news and stories in the past week that we don't want to
So
talk
cheer
about.
me up.
You know, the NSAS thing is
Cheer me up, Helen.
something that we don't even want to go into.
Yes.
I learned, and I almost was dancing, that the Prince Olawale Sulaiman Ayila, a Nigerian, became President Africa of the Asian African Chambers
President
Commerce.
General.
President for Africa.
Okay.
Yes, of the
Africa.
Chambers of Commerce in Malaysia.
Yeah.
And it's an NGO which promotes and facilitates trade between Asia and Africa. Of course, you know, Asia and Africa, you're looking at the world, is like more than 80% of the
Yes.
population of the world.
Yes.
You know, and so that is cheery news. And more cheering is that the beneficiaries are women and the youth.
Helen,
Yes.
don't go there.
Yes, but that's the truth.
Why do you keep doing that?
Because the world is beginning to open their eyes to the truth that this particular set of people, the women and the young ones, need more attention.
Okay, well done, women. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and so we're back to our main concern, silent killers. Don't forget that our interest is, first of all, preventive. And to do just that, we got you an expert with over 20 years experience in this field to kick
National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria, member, Nigeria Cardiac Society. Our guest is skilled in cardiovascular diagnostic procedures and treatment. I'm happy I didn't bite my tongue there. Dr. Monisola Adanijo has a diploma in leadership and management from the University of Washington, USA, and her passion for preventive cardiology led her to convene the Nevin Healthcare 10,000 Hertz project to help detect, protect, and correct cardiovascular diseases. Welcome to the program, Dr. Adanijo, co-founder, Nevin Healthcare.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
So, Moni, I know that you deal with matters relating to the heart. Yeah, heart matters. Heart matters. So today we take a look at the silent killers. And really, these are not masked gunmen and stealthy rogues who creep in on us overnight at home unexpected. It's about things that happen to your body without your knowledge, or at best, without your attention. In medical terms, tell us, what are silent killers?
Okay, thank you so much for having me. Just to make it simple, a silent killer is something that is killing you slowly. You're not aware until probably you're dead.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
it's too late.
Yeah.
Until you're dead.
And that's it.
So is it, well, we'll get to it, but is it that you don't know, or you're careless, or what?
Honestly, for many people, they just don't know. I wouldn't say they're careless, because if you know better, you do better. You know, many people wait for a sign to show that they're ill. They wait for bleeding, they wait for pain, they wait for a swelling somewhere, or they wait for, oh, I just don't feel well. You know, but hypertension and heart disease, stroke and all these things, many times they don't give you a warning. It just happens. And when it happens, the first symptom may just be death.
Scary.
Yes,
It would appear.
scary.
Very scary.
Yeah.
It would
And,
appear as if hypertension, like you said?
sometime last year, I had a close shave,
Okay.
and I didn't know what was happening. I ran some tests. I felt the final symptoms, or what I felt something early in the morning, and I called the doctor. I think that was
You felt something.
the
What
first.
was it that you felt?
I felt uncomfortable. I didn't know what was
Okay.
happening, right? And I had to go for a test, and the doctor said, "Quickly do this so test. Meet me at a cardiac hospital."
Wow.
And I got there, and before I knew it, they were punching things all over. And I said, "Wait
What's
a minute.
going on?"
What is going on?" And they said, "You just had a heart attack."
Wow.
You were lucky.
And that was how it was.
Yes.
So I could have just...
Yes.
Done.
Yes. You see, people assume heart attacks are as dramatic as they see on TV.
Yes.
Someone is clutching their
I was
chest,
expecting you to slam
and then-
me on the floor.
It doesn't always happen like that.
Wow.
It doesn't always happen like that.
Wow.
It doesn't always happen like that. But people always expect some dramatic, scene, clutch your chest, fall to the ground, dramatic music playing in the background. It's usually extremely unglamorous. For many people, all they feel is discomfort. I just don't feel
discomfort.
well.
That was
I just
all I
don't
felt.
I just don't feel
Just,
okay.
my arm, my chest was tight.
Oh, that's it.
For
You
days.
had the symptoms already. Chest
But I
tightness
didn't-
going down your arm.
I thought I
Okay.
was just...
All right. Symptoms coming on later on. Okay, Doc. It would appear as if hypertension or high blood pressure ranks highest in the silent killer category. Now, surely there are other ailments that you would want us to keep an eye on. Tell us about them.
Okay, so hypertension is extremely important, especially in black people. And it's thought that 40% of Nigerians are hypertensive. That is almost half, okay? And of the people that are hypertensive, 80% of them don't even know they have hypertension. So we have the group of people walking around not knowing they're carrying this horrible disease. Now, other things that are silent killers include obesity, high cholesterol, diabetes, cigarette smoking, alcohol, lack of exercise, stress, lack of sleep. All these things culminate in you developing heart disease. And heart disease, sometimes, see what happened to him. He had these vague symptoms, and if he hadn't been alert enough to call his doctor, he may have just been at home and something bad would have happened. So many times people just see these things as, oh, I'm fat, or I smoke cigarettes, I'm enjoying myself, or I don't exercise, I don't have energy, or I have diabetes, it's just sugar. It's really more than that. And when sometimes patients come to me and I appear more worried than they are. They'll be like, doctor, why are you worried? My BP is
feel
just
good.
160, 100. I feel fine. And I'm like, oh my God. If only you knew what I knew, you wouldn't say that. So we need
Yes.
to, be really careful.
Okay, now, I've tried to run through that list, and I see that you put cigarette smoking almost as an ailment. But I'm not going to.
You can have frequent urination and things like that. Now, these things occur, but we also don't go for our annual physicals. We don't go for checkups. And when we do, and they tell you, okay, Mr. XYZ, you have this problem, you have high cholesterol, you have diabetes, the first thing we do is I reject it. Or the tests are wrong, or it's because I didn't sleep well yesterday. Or, we always find excuses why we don't follow up on when we see things. And then it now festers. It now becomes something huge and something that can't be managed. So I'm not sure whether they're designed. I'm not sure whether design is what we should use. But, we also need to take, our health more seriously. People assume it's your doctor's job to take care of your health. It's not. It's your job to take care of your health by yourself. I can only help you if you help yourself.
Oh, I'm beginning to guess how many of us are, in the place that you just mentioned, guilty, even before we meet the doctors. Now, definitely these silent killers may not be as undercover as they appear. So, what are the telltale signs, apart from what John felt, to say before a heart attack?
Okay, so a heart attack simply means that wrong. Sometimes you feel nausea, you feel like vomiting, difficulty in breathing, palpitations.
Sudden heat.
And things like that. Women and heart disease, we're a special breed because sometimes we don't even have this chest pain. For many women having a heart attack, all they have is just this feeling of unwell. And they just feel nauseated. And they just feel something. When you can't really describe how you're feeling. And if you have a history of diabetes or hypertension, then you need to get it checked out.
So women are just weird like that.
There are two of us against you.
Can you imagine the word you use? They're
Just
weird.
clap for you. We're not weird.
Special.
We're special.
Okay, I agree. There's two against one here.
Yes, it's two against one.
Now, see, sometimes patients will find themselves in a helpless situation. The silent killer approaches and they can't really defend themselves. Maybe middle of the night, right in the middle of Third Mainland Bridge or whatever. What are the possible steps for self-defense? Like, okay, I'm right smack in the middle of Third Mainland Bridge, traffic everywhere, and I'm feeling like tightness in my chest and all these things that Dr. Moni just talked about.
Are you alone or someone else is with you?
Well, whichever.
Okay.
Because honestly, I'm doing that because we live in Nigeria. And, while I understand that every nation has its health challenges, in Nigeria we have our own peculiar issues. I'm not sure if there are emergency services available outside Lagos. I know in Lagos there's a number you can dial and an ambulance would come. Yeah. But if you're on Third Mainland Bridge in traffic, I'm not sure an ambulance will get to you in 2 to 5 minutes. So if you're having those symptoms and you're on Third Mainland Bridge, it would be nice if you have someone with you that can call for the ambulance. Now, honestly, if you have your medication with you and you're having this chest tightness, just chew some aspirin. The baby aspirin people take, just chew 4, okay?
4.
Instead of
what?
1.
So
1,
you're
2, 3,
saying
4.
we must have aspirin?
No.
All
you
the
see,
time.
I'm assuming if you're having that, maybe you're diagnosed with hypertension, you're using your medication.
Okay.
So if you have your medication with you at that time, just choose some aspirin, okay? And then try and call for help.
Well, let's be clear. 4. What's the strength of each
75
one?
milligrams,
75
just do 4, that's 300. Now, honestly, there's really nothing much you can do. People say, oh, take deep breaths, try and cough,
Pull on your ear.
and all that. Honestly, the best thing to do is to get to a medical facility as soon as possible. But the bestest, quote unquote, thing to do is to prevent this thing from happening in the first place.
So no need for cow urine.
You can't even get car urine on Third Mainland Bridge.
Yeah.
So, the best thing is just to prevent. If you know you are hypertensive, take your medication. If you know you are diabetic, take your medication every day. Make sure your BP is controlled. Make sure your sugar is controlled. Your cholesterol is on point. Make sure you stop smoking. I'm saying that again. Make sure you do what you need to do so that you won't have that kind of emergency situation on the bridge. But if you're somewhere where you can get, you have your emergency numbers, call an ambulance, and wait for the ambulance to come. While you're waiting, if you already are on medication and you have aspirin in your medication bag, just take 4. Just take 4, chew, not with water, chew, and then you try and get to help as soon as you can.
That's
Okay. Now the numbers are scary, and when we look at the devastation of the population of the secret killers, would you say that government has a role to play in keeping these numbers a bit down?
Oh yes, government has so much to do. Like I said earlier, emergency numbers. There has to be a way that we can respond to emergencies. We need to get our healthcare systems on point. Our healthcare facilities in Nigeria are not very good, so the government has that to play. Now, and then on the preventive side, we need to talk more about prevention. We need to insist that more people go and get screened. We need to insist that more people get on insurance, so that they can afford to go for screening, so they can afford to get the proper help. Because some people don't go to hospital because they can't afford it. Some people are like, oh, I can't afford to go to hospital, it's expensive, and they stay back at home. So if there is proper insurance, there are proper healthcare facilities, and in some countries, your insurance company calls you once it's time for your physical. They send you messages and things like that. They insist that you come in, and we can catch these things easily. And of course, more sensitization. People should talk more about it, so people will be aware, about these silent killers and how to prevent death.
I know that Helen has a few questions.
The director is talking to us.
Yeah, I know. But I need to get to this.
Yeah. On heart disease prevention by the WHO and other NGOs. Okay. And it's mainly on campaigning, mass awareness, trying to reduce the salt content in our foods. I know there's a study and a project going on in Nigeria, talking to manufacturers on reducing salt content in lots of our foods, labeling food correctly so you know how much salt you're getting, and things like that. There's a lot of private people going into hypertension treatments, sponsoring drugs and things like that. But, yes, the private sector can do something, but it won't be like if the government takes it on and makes it their own project. So a lot of work is going on, but the scope of work is huge.
Yeah.
So that's why it seems as if, nothing much is happening, but there's a lot going on, and we can only get better with time.
Okay, as a cardiologist of over 20 years experience, I want you to, let's look at what's happened over the years, maybe impact of government involvement and whatever.
Okay.
Are you feeling more footfalls around you now or less?
Footfalls as
patients coming in to see you?
Oh, well, you see, there's one thing for the government to be shouting for people to come. There's another thing for people to accept that information.
Yes.
Okay. Now, they understood that the numbers are rising.
The numbers are rising?
The numbers are rising, especially in urban areas. Urbanization, stress, like I said, eating too much salt, obesity, and things like that is higher in the urban areas, And then the more the population, of course, the numbers would go up, obviously. So more patients, honestly, are coming down with cardiovascular disease. And it's unless we do something really serious about preventing, then the numbers would continue to rise exponentially.
And let's pitch men against women. Is it more males? Is it more males coming in?
Don't answer, John.
Okay.
Okay, we already have so much to take in, and we're mindful of the audience too, and we want to give them some time to probably sit down and digest as much as we have said so far. It's a two-part conversation, and so we will take a quick break. Can we?
Of course.
All right, so let's take that break. She's still with us when we come back.
She's always doing this to me. Yes, you're tuned to Plus TV Africa, channel 408 DSTV and 308 Star Times. We're discussing silent killers today. And our guest is a cardiologist, and she's still with us, Dr. Monisola Adanijo.
Okay. Before we went on that break, John asked a question, and I said, don't answer him. Let me be nice to him. Please answer him. Then we go to the next.
Okay, so you asked, remind me,
No, I wanted
is it
to
commoner
know-
in men or women?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a slight, it's more commoner slightly in men. Okay, so heart disease is commoner in men, just a little bit more than women. But it's important to know that even in females, it's still the leading cause of death. Now, heart disease kills more women than cancer.
No way.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But even though people talk about breast cancer more because it's more, I don't know why it's more glamorous, or maybe because it's more, I don't know. But more women die from heart disease than even cancer.
Okay. And I assumed wrongly earlier that I thought Africans and Nigerians, are very active. In the villages, they go to the farms. Here in town, we're in traffic, bustling and hustling in Idumota and all of that. One person is moving you from the other place. And I have heard that the issue of stroke.
Down for most of the day.
Okay.
You're in traffic back home, you're sedentary. You get home, you're so tired, you sit down, someone comes, takes off your shoes, someone brings you a tray of food and all that. Someone takes off your wig for you, and you just sit there. Then you're there, you watch TV, you catch up on the news or the latest telenovela or sitcom. You doze off on the chair. Someone now wakes you up after 2 hours, go upstairs and sleep. You spend the whole day on your butt.
Yeah.
So most of us are sedentary. Most of us are sedentary. And then people always assume because they worked out for 30 minutes in the morning. So people say, oh, I work out every day for 30 minutes. I'm like, how about the other 23 hours and 30 minutes of the day? Are you still sedentary? If you are, then yes, you worked out for 30 minutes, but you're still kind of sedentary because you didn't do anything else for the whole day.
Okay. So quickly, what are the basics for caring for our hearts?
Okay, first thing you need to do, remember to go for your annual physical. Remember that's the most important thing. Now, if you think annual physical is stressful, anytime you can check your blood pressure, please do. Anytime you can check your blood sugar, please do. First thing. Second thing, we need to eat properly. We need to eat more vegetables, eat more fruits, reduce fats, why are you looking at him like that? Reduce fats, reduce carbohydrates, reduce salt. Most of what we eat is salty. Many of us eat out, eating food outside is salty.
Bread, the rice, the yam.
Bread and rice is not even the issue. It's the quantity of bread and rice you're eating that's the issue. It's not the bread that is the problem. When you eat too much, that's the problem. We're eating a lot of packet foods. A lot of foods are processed with high levels of salt and things like that. We don't take enough water. We don't sleep enough. We are all stressed. So we need to reduce all those. And then we need to exercise. Obviously, every day, exercise every day, at least 30 to 45 minutes of walking, and then try not to be so sedentary, okay? And then, of course, we need to stop smoking, we need to stop taking alcohol and things like that. Now, if you do all these things, then there's a greater chance you will be preventing heart disease.
Dr. Danijo, I hear that a glass of wine.
I was waiting for that question. See, everybody asks me that question so much all the time.
A glass of wine. I mean, there's nothing better than a glass of wine a day.
Okay, so
at room temperature.
Yes, red wine.
Yes.
Red wine is fantastic. Red wine contains chemicals that care for your heart, but it also contains alcohol.
Oh.
So with red wine, moderation is key. Now, moderation is key, meaning a glass of red wine every day, maximum. Now, a glass of red wine obviously won't be the size of your mug, for example, because that's a lot.
That's relative.
So, 120 mils, is the recommended daily allowance for red wine. So, like half of this mug is all you need every day. And for red wine,
many times?
just was one, a glass. You see, and that's the thing, with red wine, more is not better. More is not better because it still contains alcohol, remember?
Yeah.
Exactly. So just like half of this mug, that's 120 mils, a glass of red wine every day Fine, perfect. But our Nigerian brothers and sisters
You
will
take
not.
tomorrow's.
They will not take. They will not take one glass of red wine, or they will increase the size of their glass so that it will be this big, and then they'll be like, "Hey, it's half," Or they'll say, "Oh, I didn't want the wine to waste, so let me just finish it."
Finish it.
That's too much wine.
Wow.
Okay. Now let me take you to medical school.
That was a long time ago.
Back to medical school. Back to medical school. Yes, we've talked about high blood pressure. We talked about hypertension. If I was going to set you an exam question and I said, define high blood pressure.
Or explain it to the layman out there.
Okay. So high blood pressure, simply put, is when the pressure in your arteries is elevated. Now, the way I like to describe it is the heart is a pump, right? And the heart pumps blood around the body. And for the blood to move around the body, there has to be a certain pressure that the heart will exert. It's like when you have a pumping machine in your house, and the pumping machine is pumping water, the pumping machine has to exert pressure so that the water can go to all parts of your home. That's just the way the heart works. Now, when this pressure is too high, that's what we call hypertension or high blood pressure, when the pressure in your arteries is above a certain level. Now, over the years, the cutoff for hypertension has been changing. Okay, in the 70s, it was 160/100. In the 80s, they brought it down to 140/90. But recently, the threshold has been dropped further to anything more than 130/80. Because studies have shown that from 130/80 and above, your body starts to change and show the effect of high blood pressure. So now, if your BP is 130/80 or above, you have hypertension. And you need treatment.
So I have to adjust my threshold now. I have it as 160/90.
No.
So
no,
that
no,
has
no,
to
no.
change.
It has to change. It has to change. Especially because you've had an event before.
Yeah.
So your threshold should be extremely normal. So 130/80 for you.
130/80. Well, it's okay. I still take my pressure. And,
Fantastic.
At least with the COVID thing, you're taking your pressure almost every minute. Anywhere you go, your blood pressure.
And the honest truth is that, COVID makes hypertension worse. Many patients, when they have COVID, their BP becomes uncontrollable. And then we realize that more people that die from COVID have all these pre-existing conditions, hypertension, heart disease. Some people did not even know they had hypertension or diabetes or anything until they caught COVID. And then when they caught COVID, your BP is high or your blood sugar is high and things like that. So, we need to be especially careful in this COVID era to check our BP because, people that have hypertension and diabetes are more at risk of dying from severe COVID than other people.
Ooh. All right.
That's a lot.
We did say at the beginning that we're, just staying within preventive medicine here. Because it's better not to get there at all. And you talked to us about keeping the body fit, busy, not being sedentary, watch what we eat, and all of that. They tell me that someone says that depression is also one of this. How do you stay away from being depressed in an environment such as ours?
Okay, so yes, it's true. Your mental health impacts your heart health, because when you have mental health issues, the body sees it as a stressful state and releases all kinds of hormones that wreaks havoc to your heart. Now, I always tell people, the environment happens and you react. Now, the way you react to environment is what matters. Yes, there's a problem. There's no money. Economy is bad. Things are happening. But the way you react to your situation is what will affect your body. Now, I'm not saying you should say nothing is happening, be saying affirmations when there's a problem or you don't do anything about it. But sometimes, your own state of mind, you're managing your emotions, managing your stress, regardless of what is going on around you, is really key to stress reduction, reducing depression, and, caring for your mental health. And of course, the African society, we were brought up in a village setting. Everybody's
communal.
Thank you. Communal. There's a community. There's always someone you can talk to. There's always someone you can ask for help and things like that. And we're losing that in the society now because we're becoming more Western. So I think we need to look more into that, asking for help, from your community, developing fantastic relationships, and things like that will also help.
Learning to
mental
speak out,
health
not
issues.
bottle things up.
And then when people tell you something, you don't go and type it on social media. Guess what this person told me, and things like that. Having people you can trust and being a trustworthy person as well. Asking for and receiving help. Being a good sister's keeper or brother's keeper to your neighbor, and things like that will go a long way. Because loneliness itself is a problem.
There's a practical question, because like 10 things are running through my mind. And I wake up at 3 a.m., for example, 4 a.m., and one of it hits me. And I have a feeling that my heart is beating faster than normal. What does that mean?
That's anxiety. Okay. Like I said, when you're anxious, your heart beats faster than normal. You
Healthy?
understand? No, not healthy at all.
Don't worry, Helen, you're okay.
So that's why we need to get to the bottom of. You see, many of us in Africa don't understand that mental illness is an illness like malaria or typhoid or hypertension. We need help. People just think, oh, mental illness. I'm not mad though. I don't have to see a psychiatrist. But sometimes just talking to somebody, the thing you're anxious about will never be anything serious if you share your problems with someone.
Okay.
Now, there is hypo and there is hyper.
Yes.
Which is which?
Okay, so hypertension is high blood pressure. Hypotension is low blood pressure. Now, low blood pressure generally happens when the person has some kind of illness. Maybe they have some sepsis, or they're bleeding, or they vomited too much.
What's sepsis?
Okay, horrible infection. I beg your pardon. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm trying to.
Okay.
So when somebody is severely ill, okay, and maybe the person is vomiting, or the person has been bleeding, or having severe diarrhea, or losing fluids, or someone has a really bad infection, the blood pressure can drop to really dangerous levels. Now, hypotension is also low, because when the pressure of the blood going around your body, right, is too low, obviously, the blood supply to your organs
As a
will be
result
cut
of
off.
what, if I may ask?
Bleeding,
Okay.
fluid losses, severe infections, drug overdose, and things like that. So when the pressure is really low, the blood supply to your organs obviously will be really, really, really low. And then your organs can start shutting down one by one.
And that's as bad as the high blood pressure too?
Yes, worse.
Yes, it's worse because it kills in minutes. It kills in minutes.
So is high blood pressure treatable?
It's manageable. There's no permanent cure for hypertension just yet, but you can manage blood pressure by two ways. You either do your lifestyle alone, your exercise, reduce your salt, eat properly, or a combo of lifestyle and medication, okay, to bring down the blood pressure and keep it at a manageable level.
And it's not something you can do on your own. It means you must
No.
seek
You can't do
medical
it on
attention.
your own. You need to see your doctor brain. So when the blood pressure gets so high, either a blood vessel bursts in the brain, the person starts to bleed into the brain and then has a stroke. Or because of the long-standing hypertension or diabetes, the blood vessels of the brain gets narrow and then blood flow is reduced. The person gets a stroke.
There's usually a relativity between diabetes and
Hypertension.
Yeah.
I call them the children of the same mother. Hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, and obesity, because most of the time, they exist together. At least if one is present, then you should look for the others, because most of the time they occur together and they have similar problems and things like that.
Okay.
Now,
Go on.
I feel like going to medical. Now, tell us quickly, because I think we're running out of time.
we are.
That's the reason she gave me the eye. So, cardiac arrest, stroke, heart attack, heart failure, heartbreak. Are they all one and the same?
No, they're not. So let me just explain quickly. Cardiac arrest is when the heart stops. It's like when you're running and police arrest you, you stop. So cardiac arrest, the heart stops, period. Stops working, stop, end, that is it. Heart attack and a stroke are about the same thing. Is when the blood supply to either the heart or the brain is reduced. Okay, so that's, the person is still alive, but there's reduced blood supply. Heart failure is when the heart is not doing what it's supposed to do. It's not supplying blood to the body properly. The person is still alive, the heart is still beating, but it's not efficient, and blood supply to the body is reduced. So that's the difference.
Heartbreak.
Heartbreak is not anatomical. Heartbreak is not anatomical.
But it can kill you.
I know. It's the mental health part. Yes, because when somebody is heartbroken, there are mental health issues that can now lead to real physical heart problems.
And it may just be a decision to end life, not that a health condition ends the life. So that's heartbreak.
Yeah, so
okay.
It's
So if someone were just tuning in right now, and we're talking about silent killers, and there's some key things or areas that person needs to take away, what would they be?
Okay, so takeaway. First of all, you don't wait until you have a symptom before you go for your checkup, okay? Because hypertension is extremely common. Almost half of the adults in Nigeria are hypertensive, 40% and climbing, okay? So first takeaway. Second takeaway, when you have been informed that you're hypertensive, please use your medication. Please use your medication. Don't say it's not your portion. Use your medication. Make sure your blood pressure is controlled. Then you need to change the way you live your lifestyle. You need to exercise more. You need to eat properly and reduce vices.
Vices, smoking,
alcohol, recreational drug use, and all that.
Okay, so I guess that we must choose prevention over cure. We must choose to get loads of information about these matters. They may not come to you as easily as you need them, so you should go find this information. And it's been an honor learning so much from you. Life is only once. When you're gone, you're gone.
That's it.
And so this is serious matter.
It is.
Silent killers all around us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having
being
me
here.
Thanks.
Moni, I can't thank you enough, because I think you've really opened our eyes to a lot of things that we've taken for granted. Yeah.
All right. So still looking at silent killers, this time from the perspective of natural health remedies. And that will be when Pharaoh Shonuga comes on board with her guest, Dr. Lolade Akinrinola.
While we get ready.
Don't just laugh. I got that right.
You did.
Thank you.
You're close enough. While we get ready for Pharaoh, let's do some shake-ups and pumping up the blood.
She told us to.
It's time to hit the gym with Dolly. Don't you go away.
Welcome to the fitness section of today's show. I'm Dolly Phillips at Alpha Fitness Studios in Lekki Phase 1. Now, today, as you can see, I'm on the floor. And you need a dining room chair as well. So grab one real quick and let's get to our workout. What are we doing? Legs under the chair. Let's start with our warm-up. Deep breath in and out. And in and out. Two more, in and out. Last one, in and out. Let's reach up and over. One, up and over. Two, good. Up and over. Three, last one, up and over. Four, stretch the side. 4, 3, 2, 1. Other side. 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's start. So, first workout, you're going to lie down. I'm lying down here. I'm going to bring my foot up and down. One more and relax. Now, legs outside the chair. We're going to clap above. Are you ready? In 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And up. Now, if you need to keep your knees bent, that's absolutely fine. Your focus should be to keep your lower back in the ground. So tilt your pelvis forward and keep that back on the floor. Ooh, you can feel the burn with this one. 3 more seconds. 2 and 1. Back to the first one. Both legs underneath that chair. We're sending it above the chair now. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And up. Good. Alternate. And up. Now pull that knee into the chest. Yes, so you really get those quads working as well. Keep going. This is fun. I like this one. We're lying down after all. 4 more seconds. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, and time. In and out on the side. Are you ready? In 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And out. And out. Pull those knees to the chest. That is super important. Come on. And out. And in. And out. And in. That's it. Keep going. No time. Go. That's it. 3, 2, 1. One leg above, one leg below. We're working. In 3, 2, 1. Let's swap over. This is hardcore. In. Don't kick that chair over. Come on. Make it work. That's it. Let's go. Ay, ay, ay. You can feel this one. If you want to intensify that workout, look at your legs at what they're doing. Yes. And rest it. Okay, from here, I'm going to send my legs over and back down to the floor. Ready? Let's go. No need to straighten your legs. Keep it bent. And down. Good. And over. And down. And over. And down. Teasing that stool as though you're going to drop your legs, but you're not. And down. Take it over. Awesome. Quickly, one more. And time. Now we're doing the opposite. We're sending it down now. You ready? In 3, 2, 1. Both legs through. In and to the chest. That's it. In and to the chest. Ooh, this one. Really hitting those lower abs right there. Come on. In and to the chest. Don't stop. 2. Come on, one more. 3. 2 more, I lied. 4. Last one now. And 5. Hold it there and stretch. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull one leg out. Yes, keep one down there. And reach to the side. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Repeat the same on the other side. Let's go. 3, come on. 2, and 1. And relax. Side stretch. Other side. Deep breath in and out. Last one, in and out. Wow, that was awesome. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, John and Helen. This morning we've been talking about silent killers, i.e. things like stress which lead to illnesses and the famous silent killer, high blood pressure. And with me this morning is Dr. Lolade Akinriola, a certified health, safety and environment professional, a lymphedema therapist, I hope I pronounced that properly, I'm not a doctor, and a registered holistic nutritionist and a doctor of osteopathy and intravenous nutritional therapy. She's also the CEO. I look forward to this session. So the go-to for a lot of people are chemically based medicines. Yeah. And for me, I prefer to go as natural as possible. I'm really, really curious as to whether chemical-based medicines are better than natural-based medicines. Can you shed some light on that?
Okay, for natural-based medicine, because of there's no side effects, it's absolutely safe than the synthetic medications that we take. And natural remedies, actually, it's quite extensive, and they have approaches. There are several approaches to it. Some examples are naturopathic medicine, nutritional medicine, homeopathic medicine, used to treat and to support healing instead of conventional intervention.
Wow, that's a lot of things.
A lot of things.
So one of your many hats is you're a holistic nutritionist.
Yeah.
What is that?
Holistic nutrition is it's beyond characteristics of food. It's more, it focuses on the quality of the food source and holism of the consumer, meaning that where you eat, what you eat, the food, where your food is and where your food is coming from, and what your food has eaten. That's what's about the holism of consumer.
Can you break it down to simple terms? Because I really want to understand this.
Okay. Holistic nutrition, like I said, is beyond just food. It focuses on the quality of this food source, meaning that is the food pure, is it organic, is it natural? It's more like the food has to be in the natural state before consuming, and not genetically modified, not with artificial flavors and all that. So the holism of the consumer too is quite interesting. We have to focus on that too, because we have to make sure consumer eats the right food, where the consumer is eating from, what kind of food is eating, how the consumer is eating, and what the food has eaten, what the consumer is eating. We want to know what is eating. Okay, the food you ate, we want to know where it's coming from. So that is the holistic issue. All about that. It's more like knowing the underlying is beyond just food. We want to know beyond the science behind the food. So that is what holistic nutrition is all about.
Okay, it sounds a little complicated.
A little bit.
In the world we live in today. So how do if I wanted to stop taking synthetic medicine and I wanted to go natural, how do I do this realistically, considering the world we live in?
It's very important that tests are run, and you have your checks. And
when you say tests are run by who? By me, the person?
No, by the doctors. It's very important to know, because in my own approach, right, because I use a lot of things, so, I bring a lot of things together when I'm actually, treating my clients. I put a lot of things together. So holistic nutrition is part of them. So in this case, let me example of somebody with high blood pressure, and when it's a chronic condition and there's no solution to that medically, and you want to cross over to natural remedy. So we start not by pulling you out of the medication. Number one thing is that we change your lifestyle. And we try to clean the body, meaning that you detoxify. Because once the body is clean, the root cause of hypertension easily it can be dealt with. And beyond that, we look for the underlying cause of the problem, because hypertension, some people, I've seen some clients, they are hypertensive, but the cause was stress. Some it's high intake of alcohol, some is high salt intake. So I'm going to deal with them individually, not because of, oh, you have hypertension, okay, let me just give you anti-hypertensive drugs. No, why not dealing with the underlying cause? So if you are coming over to cross over to natural medicine, I will look for the underlying cause of the ailment the person is bringing.
Is it expensive, this?
Oh, no, not at all. It's not expensive. At the same time, not that cheap. Okay, but it's more holistic. You have to be in the world of your clients when you're actually addressing them, because you need to get to the root cause. That is why it is natural. That is why it is integrative. We want to deal with the root cause, the underlying cause, not to suppress the symptoms.
So what is the connection between silent killers, like you've mentioned one of them, hypertension? There are people who have a stroke, they don't realize that, that it just happens. There are people who have aneurysms, they're fine 1 minute, the next minute they're dead. So all these different silent killers, what is the advantage of natural remedies in treating or putting the silent killers at bay?
Okay, because natural remedies is for everyone. I would say it's for everyone, and because silent killers are diseases and ailments that many creep into many people, and they don't even know they're having such situation, and most of the time because they don't know. And over time, it becomes complicated. And if it wasn't attended to, there's more trouble. So, eating clean meaning, like I said,
fruits and the vegetables that they are either buying or being bought or sending somebody to buy is organic. Where do you even start from?
Well, that is, we have to take responsibility for our health. That's the truth. It's like I don't have time. I'm thirsty, and I don't have time to drink water. The market is not totally filled with inorganic or synthetic foods compared to the civilized world, the Western world. So it's easy to actually source food and all that. Maybe peradventure your body could not process it out. It remains there. It keeps building up toxins, causing inflammation. Oh, I have a headache tomorrow. Oh, I feel tired, fatigue, back pain. Something over time, it will cause trouble. So that's why we try to encourage eat clean. And even if you have issues, it will be easy for your body to heal itself, because the body has the capacity to heal itself. And natural nutrition, it's totally, it has the ability to actually support the body to heal itself. So that is the main issue here, that it's not about taking medication, even though if you have to take medication and some life-threatening conditions, why not go for it? But we don't want to keep you there forever. So come out of it by changing of lifestyle and eating the right food.
Okay, so I'm going to take us all the way back. What are natural remedies? And is it the same thing as herbal medicine?
Yes, they are the same thing. Okay, so because like I said earlier, natural medicine is quite extensive, so much of it. So herbal medicine is part of it. That's the botanical medicine. We have homeopathic medicine, we have naturopathic medicine.
What is homeopathic medicine?
Homeopathic medicine is using herbs in form of tincture. Totally. You won't use the herbs, the use of herbs in the form of like a tea. That's an herbal. You can use herbal like a tea. But in this homeopathic, they will have converted to a tincture, like oil, or something like that will be easily bioavailable for the body to make use of it.
I see.
Okay, so natural medicine, it's all about that. So we have, they are broad, but you narrow down what you want to focus on and the particular ailment you're actually dealing with. Okay, so that is all about that.
So natural medicine is the same thing as agbo?
Well, we can, and so that it will not interact each other. Even those things can interact each other, and they can actually cancel their effects. So they know what to combine together. And after combination, and they know the quantity, the dosage, those are the things that makes it more professional compared to the illiterate, that they will just, give you maybe a bottle of something, keep drinking. No dosage, You have to know the quantity. And if you really see a professional herbalist, they are more focused on the quality of their herbs, where they are coming from, the source of the herb, not just any herbs. Because they also have to get organic herbs, naturally grown plants and whatever they are using, not the one with fertilizer or anything that will corrupt the plant's nature. Right, so the source is very important, because if you take the right herbal medication, definitely the healing effects and the nutritional value will be it's very important to have the efficacy of the treatment.
I see. So can you explain to me what you do and how it connects the dots with natural medicine / aka herbs, homeopathy? You know, can you explain? Things. Yes.
Okay, I am an integrative medicine practitioner. And integrative medicine,
yes.
It's I will explain that. And integrative medicine, invasive approaches. So those are the things I try to focus on. That is just what integrative medicine is all about. That even though if you have to take complementary, conventional approach,
medicine,
we do that, but we try to at a minimal level.
I see.
Because of the side effects. Most of the medications, they have side effects. So we try to do everything. Okay, maybe I give, for example, that somebody taking chemotherapy, right? I have a lot of clients like that. So I don't have problem you taking your high dose of chemotherapy, radiotherapy, or whatever. They come back to me to actually embed the side effects of chemotherapy, which conventional medicine don't do. Okay, so those are the things we put together. Do your chemo if you have to do that, because we know that most of the time, it's just a matter of time, most of them come down again with the same problem they're actually dealing with, because chemo destroyed both the good cells and the bad cells. So when they could finish all those things, okay, they come over to me, then we support them, and so that the side effects will be minimal, so that we can prolong their life. Generally, integrative medicine, natural remedies, they are not harsh, they are not aggressive, they prolong life and well-being.
Are there things that, so, like now, I'm not feeling too well, yeah? Is it at this point that I start taking the natural remedies, or should I have been taking them months and months ago when I was at 100%?
100%, that's it. You know, that is when you practice preventive medicine. It's better to do preventive medicine than the other. So it's very important. Basically, because everybody's moving around, you're a busy person and all that. There's no way you'll not be depleted of some minerals in your body, which even food cannot give to you. So in that case, why not supplement? Do some right things so that to keep your body going.
So what are those right things, though? Everyday things that,
okay,
that we can do. So to begin, you said it's a lifestyle thing.
Totally lifestyle.
So what are those things that I can go away and we can all go away and we can start doing?
Well, number one thing I would tell anyone that wants to start a natural remedy or want to embrace it, it's detoxify. You keep detoxing.
How do you detoxify?
Well, I would recommend at least 1 lemon in water every day.
Check. I do that.
Every morning you have to do that, because, it detoxifies the liver. Liver does over 500 jobs in the body. And you can imagine if the liver is working optimally, you increase your metabolism. You won't feel sluggish, you won't feel tired. It's anti-aging, it helps the gallbladder. It does a lot of things. I mean, lemon water. Lime? Lemon, not lime, because it even alkalizes the body. The whole digestive system, and you are good to go. It improves the microbiome. Those are the lively bacteria in the body that the body needs. It won't promote the bad bacteria. So that's why it's good to do that early in the morning. And warm water or room temperature is not really necessary, but no cold water to add lemon to it. And the next thing, you hydrate yourself. It's just good to hydrate, because if you don't hydrate, that's where you feel slight headache, you feel tired. Even if you are not hydrating enough, you can start feeling tightness in your joints. So this thing will come over time. You know, maybe after like few months, you don't drink enough water, especially water. I'm not talking about, you can drink tea, but not the right tea, not, I'm sorry, Milo, chocolate tea, milk and all that. Coffee, we have to know the source of the coffee. Coffee is good, but at a minimal level. You don't overdo that so that it won't drive you hard because when you want to rest or when you want to unwind, you won't be able to do that because of if you take so much coffee. So that's where they have problem. People taking coffee, too much of coffee, like 4 or 5 cups a day.
But 1 cup is okay.
It's not bad. Okay. 1 cup is not bad.
Every day?
Every day, yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, good.
that's good for you, right? So basically, that's just that. That's number 1. I've talked about lemon. I've talked about hydration.
Hydrating, number 2.
And another thing is eat clean. To actually flush those things out from my system. Because I indulge too, I won't lie about that. Once in a while I do. But I know when to stop because I won't drive my body to a point that I'll be falling sick or I'll be feeling terrible. No, I won't do that. So I normally encourage eat clean. Basically, reduce artificial or synthetic food. Try to eat clean food. And there's some foods that are they could actually trigger inflammation in the body system. And we try to avoid them. One of them is milk, but you won't believe that, dairy. Yeah, it triggers inflammation in the system, and that could lead to anything. So you can cut down on that. And maybe the 4th thing I'll talk about is exercise. Exercise. You're not necessarily going out or to go and run or go to the gym. This is what I do. Do you know I jump like 100 times in my bathroom every morning? Before.
That is exercise.
It's exercise. Just have to do something to keep your body moving. Then, of course, have a good sleep. Make sure you have adequate sleep. And because we are busy, right? But if you want to have medically, of course, they will tell you to have like 8 hours sleep. For me, that's too much. I can't be sleeping 8 hours. I wouldn't do that. But you know when to rest. Listen to your body. When your body is tired, you don't just jump out of the bed or just ignore. It's very important. Even sitting back quietly and try to connect with your body it's so therapeutic. And you just feel that, the way I'm feeling, I don't like the way I'm feeling. And you're just quiet within yourself. It could even settle down a lot of things than just jumping around, ignoring everything happening to your body. Because most of these symptoms, you see them. You see the symptoms actually happen. But people ignore. Headache, they keep taking Panadol, or they treat malaria and typhoid. That is common here. When there's anybody having headaches, feel feverish and all that, the next thing to do is go and take Panadol or take malaria tablet, which is not always the truth. But if you did
all these other things,
yes,
you would be fine.
It's so easy. Even your body will heal itself. Health is a state of wellness and balance of the body, mind, and spirit. So if there's an imbalance, the person will fall sick. So natural remedies are just, they can address all the areas to support the body to balance itself. And that is where the person you feel good. You just discover that you are well. I don't feel this kind of funny, sluggish feeling I used to feel again. You feel happy within yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This has been quite insightful, and interesting enough, we've run out of time.
Oh, okay.
It always goes by very, very quickly.
Yeah.
But I think we've all taken quite a few things that we can begin to implement. First thing, I'm going to change my lime to lemon.
To lemon. Lemon is better.
Every
and don't
morning.
Buy the imported lemon.
I do the local.
Do the local.
I do the local. It's cheaper for starters.
And do you know what? Isn't it better that you can squeeze the juice and boil the pulp?
Exactly.
Because it will gently balance the liver. So you now drink the water. I had the water with the juice you have already pulled out initially, and you add to it.
Wow.
It's miraculous.
I'm going to do that. I'm definitely going to do that. Thank you so much for being here today. It really has been quite enlightening. Thank you so much.
watch over me. Oh, my papa, he can't like to say, as you go away, don't forget where you came. If you lose your way, you can pray. Don't be afraid, don't lose faith. You will find your help, there'll be a way. Just remember to pray and you'll be okay. Every day he asks me, son, I hope you're doing okay. Oh, my papa, he today fears say I go astray, 'cause I walk a stranger land, and my home is so far away. Papa says if you lose your...
I'm picking on you again today.
She should listen,
And
right?
I'm doing that deliberately because I've learned a few things from Pharaoh.
Oh, really?
I learned a few things and I did a nugget. I did a nugget specially dedicated to Pharaoh.
Oh my God, you're
So
making
my
me blush.
nugget for today, always recap, and our viewers need to learn from that. So nugget for today, courtesy,
your
Pharaoh,
presentation.
not me, is end your presentation by going back to the beginning. So thank you so much.
So as it relates to public speaking,
Yes. Yeah, presentations are public form of public speaking. So we're talking public speaking. Right?
A
So that's
presentation
it.
is everything in
Yeah.
reality. When you speak to people one-on-one, when you're public speaking,
Yes.
when you're in a meeting at work, it's the same thing.
So, could you
so that's the
wrap
size
up
of
the
our
show?
package for today.
That is it.
Silent killers. And I've learned so much, especially from the last guest.
Dr.
The
Olade.
natural touch to it.
Yes.
And food is everything.
Yes.
They say you're what you eat, really. All right. So we'll be back same time next week, same station, and we know that you will be there with us. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.
Hello and welcome. It's Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime. Nimasa This Week is brought to you by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency. Statutorily mandated to ensure that there is regulation and promotion of matters affecting our waters. NIMASA bears responsibility for search and rescue, shipping development, and ship registration.
NIMASA This Week, the voice of maritime, showing on this channel.
From where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better? Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on PlusTvAfrica as he probes deep in search of solutions. Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
Good people, I greet you. It's great to reminisce about good memories of my past. A past that shaped my present and a present that hopefully will shape not only my future, but that of our children. Rich culture and traditions. We often looked with nostalgia to the season of Okere Juju, an annual masquerade festival with epic center of the celebration at Okere main roundabout or square. The elegance and beauty of the festival, graced by masquerades in attires almost akin to the costume and apparel worn by your masquerade in Lagos. It is a mix of culture, tradition, dancing, and humor. So don't wander too far when you ask how Warri has evolved to be the root of comedy. It is rooted in our culture. I also recall with fond memories the great Agbasa Juju Cultural Festival, a colorful festival celebrated by the people of Agbara Warri Kingdom. It is a warlike festival popularly called Agbasa Juju. The date of the festival is chosen according to the Robo Native market days by the Olotu and the elders of the kingdom, where the respective towns are expected to come in a dance procession with their warlike costumes. What a beauty to behold. I wonder how deep and rich our children are today in our culture and traditions. Interesting cultures are warning for different reasons, ranging from westernization to mere indifference of traditional institutions and practice. Time won't permit me to delve much on what we miss as a nation if we do not preserve our culture. This is a serious food for thought for us as a nation. Yes, Warri was fun, but the need for education took me out of Warri at the age of 17 when I got admission to the University of Lagos. At 17, I was bold enough to take on the world. I was wise enough to understand the import of education and the need to be focused in life. Strange enough, it was also my first time in Lagos, Warri boy in Lagos, but I was armed with a thinking if such still exists in our Nigeria of today. There was this vendor in front of the big Senate building at that time. I describe the Senate building as big because it was probably one of the biggest buildings I've seen at that time. Those were years when our local football league was popular and embraced by all Nigerians. You read about the exploits of Iwayawu National, New Nigerian Bank of Benin, Bedell Insurance of Benin, NNPC Football Club of Warri, Seasiders Football Club of Warri, ICC Shooting Stars, BCC Lions of Boko, Abiola Babes, stationery stores, and a host of others. Every Sunday morning, we will rush to the front of the Senate building to read results of the matches played over the weekend from the back page of Tribune newspaper. How such news got published early in those days still baffles me. We were the ones they call Free Readers Association. Then we will pick the papers, read and return. Those who wish to buy will drop money inside a cup or a bowl by the newsstand and walk away. Curiously, in my 4 years in Unilag, I never set my eyes on who the vendor was. Nobody had the mind of stealing his papers, and we never heard for once of any incident of theft. How it was done, I could not even figure out. Such was the extent of trust in our time. Can we make bold to say the same scenario can play itself out in today's Nigeria? What do we have today? I think that the best thing we can do for our children is to allow them to do things for themselves, allow them to be strong, and allow them believe more in themselves, imbibe in them that identity that was so strong in molding us to who we have become today. Then we are building a foundation for their greatness. It is not enough to revel in the glory of the good old days. It is important to take the lessons, right the wrongs. It is not too late. Our children deserve a better and greater future, not stories about the good old days. To this end, I therefore join Sir Shomore Badejo in this patriotic drive towards a greater tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Saturday Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. Welcome on the show. Let's start with the fact that I can't see what I'm going to talk about. Let's start with that first. I think I've never been building stadiums across Nigeria, no. I remember vividly that in 1999, Nigeria 1999, Ronaldinho, a Brazilian, said that he had never been to a stadium where he would come out from underneath the ground, underground. And the National Stadium was the only place he had seen it. Even the popular Maracanã Stadium does not have an underground. And you need to go to that underground now. It is fishes, snakes, lizards that actually live there now. Especially during the rainy season. Now, the rehabilitated Moshood Abiola Stadium has been handed over to the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development after repair works were completed. The repair work, which is being handled by Aaron Nigeria Limited, is sponsored by billionaire Aliko Dangote. Now, Aaron Executive Director, Stakeholder Management and Corporate Communications of the group, Mansour Hamad, who represented Dangote, handed the rehabilitated stadium to the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, yesterday. Now, the rehabilitation work was carried out on the main bowl pitch and the scoreboard. Speaking at the handing over ceremony, Dare landed the Aaron and Dangote group for completing the project in record time, despite constraints imposed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Hamed said that the formal handover of the rehabilitated pitch was a testimony of the commitment of the company to sports development and supporting football. Former international and special advisor to the president on sports, Daniel Amokachi, said after spending $1 million to renovate the facility, long-term maintenance is paramount. He appealed to Dangote Group to consider extending the period of maintenance beyond 2 years. Dangote adopted the Abuja Stadium with repair works commencing August 2020, while another billionaire and chairman of the Premier Lotto, Kesentin Adebutu, also agreed to foot the bills for the rehabilitation of the National Stadium in Lagos. Now, Kesentin Babajebu has not finished Lagos. But it's good news. Dangote has actually promised fulfilled. He's returned the stadium back to them. But Amokachi said something. He was pleading. Yeah.
You could start to push for hosting competitions, African competitions in Moshood Abiola. And the fact is, this offers us a glimpse into what our future could look like if Nigeria ever were to host the World Cup. This is kind of world-class stadium we would hope
Yes.
to have all around the country, that fans from all around the world could visit. Because at the same time, aside from the fact that, oh, this is a place where you go to play sports, play football, this is a place that on some level is a monument.
I know for one, that I know, that the Emirates Stadium, Arsenal Stadium, is being managed by a particular company. And what they did was, when you're walking into the stadium, there are shops on the left and the right, different shops selling different things. So it's like a mall. It's like a mall downstairs, and then you go upstairs to the stadium to watch the game, and you can actually come down and...
The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium has been used on multiple occasions to host
baseball events,
American football
events.
They're working on getting wrestling. They've done boxing. So there's a number of ways where you could continue to raise funds for the repair and maintenance of these stadiums. My worry is that this situation now where the World Cup, the FIFA is talking about bringing the World Cup into a biennial rotation and giving the opportunity for more countries to host, and that countries like Nigeria, continents like Africa would benefit from it more. Sure, there's the potential for that, but it begs the question that up until now, we haven't deemed it necessary to rehabilitate our facilities and push to be one of the hosts for the World Cup. South Africa did something very audacious in even throwing their name into the pot as one of the potential hosts. And as soon as they did, it was like first time in, first time they got it.
The truth be said, nobody actually gave South Africa a chance.
Nobody gave South Africa a chance. And yet, in record time, they had all of the facilities prepared, and it was a memorable World Cup. So it's something that we can aspire for. It's something we should aspire for. And if this is the first step, then I can, and you said it before, that this is one thing we can definitely say. Congratulations to the sports minister. He's done something good.
He was one who actually thought the idea up, because I think he went to the president and the man said Nigeria is not rich enough to do all these things. They are still sultry. And he went to the private sector and he said, listen guys, can you guys help rehabilitate?
The truth is our future in sports will depend on the private sector. I'm still hoping that very soon that our clubs, our leagues will be bought up by more private sector.
Exactly. I look at some Nigerian companies, I won't call names now, some Nigerian companies who are sponsoring South African clubs, branding their jerseys. And I watch Premier League matches. And then in the middle of Premier League matches, there are adverts. And these are adverts of Nigerian owned by Nigerian people.
You see the likes of Dangote's refineries being publicized abroad on CNN. You see the likes of Glow on Super Sports. And it tells you that there's clearly a global reach. There's clearly an appetite for bringing our brands in Nigeria to the rest of the world. And the financial headway is there too.
But I think the problem in Nigeria is, first of all, accountability. These guys know if I put my money into this guy will just chop it. So I think
But then if we allowed these companies, these brands to buy up these clubs, it would be their responsibility.
Exactly.
The fan
But
base,
the government don't want that, because each state realizes that if these companies, private sector companies, buy these clubs, the little change they get from the federal government will stop.
But the little change that they do get from the federal government is drying up. It is.
Well, now, Manchester United's new interim manager, Ralph Rangnick, said yesterday that he was confident he could get the squad firing on all cylinders again. 63-year-old German was appointed on Monday, November 29th, on a contract until the end of the season after the sacking of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and will work in 2 consultancy roles for a further 2 years. The former RB Leipzig boss takes charge of 7th-placed United for the first time at a Friday's training session, having been granted a work visa this week ahead of Crystal Palace's league visit to Old Trafford on Sunday. That's tomorrow. Rangnick was in the stands when caretaker manager Michael Carrick guided United to a 3-2 win over Arsenal in his final game on Thursday. Now, Rangnick, who began coaching in the early 1980s, is a proponent of Genge pressing, a style of football in which means press with high energy to win the ball back as soon as possible, rather than falling back to regroup. He left his role as the head of sports and development in the Russian Premier League side Lokomotiv Moscow to take over at United. Rangnick also said he rejected a 4-month offer from Chelsea last season, and that he had out-discussed some potential recruits during the January transfer window.
Yeah, I would like to say hello to everybody. Thanks for coming and getting up that early. To be honest, in my career, it's probably the most early press conference in my life. I haven't had a press conference at 9 a.m., but due to the fact that we have the next game coming up on Sunday in 2 days' time, and I will have the first training session with the players, there was no alternative to having a press conference at 9, and I'm very much looking forward to the next couple of days, weeks, and months working together with you. And I mean, obviously, I've watched the latest games. I watched not only last night's game, but also the games against Watford and against Chelsea. And on TV, when I didn't know that there would be contact in the next days, I also watched out of interest the games against Liverpool and against Manchester City. So I'm pretty well aware and acquainted with what's happening here in the club and in the Premiership. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that the team have abundant talent, young talented players, but also enough experienced players in the squad. But I mean, the major target for me in the next couple of weeks, is just to bring more balance into the team. Even yesterday, we conceded 2 goals. We needed 3 goals in the end to win the game. And if you look at the total goals, number of goals conceded, it's almost two on average per game, and this is just too much. So this is my approach to help the team to get more balance, to get more control on the game. And yesterday's game, I mean, it was exciting for the fans, but even for myself as the future coach, those are not the kind of games that you need every day, because in football, for me, it's to minimize the coincidence factor and to have control and gain control on the game. And this is in football what it's about. And this is my approach. I will try to help these outstanding, talented players to try and get and keep the way away from their own goal.
Mukael, interesting days in the English Premier League.
Yes.
First of all, this man brought the Genge pressing. That's what they call it. These were the men that started it. Genge pressing. It means that when you lose the ball, don't fall back. Amano. Play like a Diamond shaft, a German machine. Stay with your opponent. You lose the ball, stay with him. Don't fall back. And Liverpool has done that on the club week in, week out. Yes. And we see what they've become. Tuchel is doing that with Chelsea week in, week out. Look at what they've become.
You know, first of all, he's the professor, and he did establish the Genge pressing. He established the flat back 4. The truth is, even the terminology of rock and roll football, which Jurgen Klopp has used in the past, is how he originally described Genge pressing. So we know that Klopp is a loyal follower of his teachings. Tuchel has taken a lot and learned a lot from him as well. You've mentioned Nagelsmann in Bayern.
Nagelsmann, yeah.
Yes, and it tells you...
Timo Werner, a lot of people.
The truth is, this is why the Premier League will stay ahead of the curve when it comes to competitiveness, when it comes to being the best league in the world, because every type of manager from every type of discipline around the world want to come to manage in England. When you go to Germany, it's mostly German coaches, all with their own variations of the same school of football thought. If you go to Spain, it's majority Spaniards, plenty of one or two Brazilian interpretation of football. Nuno Espirito Santos. Yeah. We've seen Brazilians, Scolari for a bit. We've seen Spaniards with Pep Guardiola, and even now Valverde could have been and could potentially still be one of the potential managers to take over Manchester United at the end of the season. We've seen Argentines, we've seen all kinds of managers from all kinds of disciplines around the world bring their own interpretation of. Look at the English national team.
I have a fear. My fear is, love it or leave it, Klopp and Tuchel play about the same style of football. A variance, yes, in different ways.
Yes.
He's going to come. This is the professor, the man who actually started this style. He's going to come and bring that same style too, but in a different kind of way too. So at a point in time, maybe English football might just become obvious. We're expecting Liverpool to still be on top under Klopp. We're expecting Chelsea to still be on top under Tuchel. We're expecting Man U to climb up on the Rangnick. After a while, it will get boring, don't you think?
You know, it's kind of like this old Reagan terminology, trickle-down economics.
Yeah.
These things that they're teaching these teams will trickle down throughout the league. It will filter down to the academies, and these players will learn and grow up to become the next future generation of coaches, and they will reinterpret these things that they've learned. Aside from that, you have to remember that these managers learn almost as much from the players that they have at their disposal, from the league that they are playing as we do from them. So Nagelsmann will have to contend with the players and what they're capable of affording him, what he can bring to the table, and he will have to adapt. Sure, he wants to go out in January and buy one or two players, but it's not like there's a lot of options out there. He might bring one or two Germans in to Manchester United, but ultimately, the true test of him as a manager is the fact that he will have to dip into his tactical bag of tricks and figure out how to use the best players in the best positions to fulfill and interpret his philosophy
of football. Oh, well, he said it to someone. He wants Timo Werner. And we heard Timo Werner told someone he's relishing the fact of playing
a lot of third-party hearsay.
Yes, but let's look at the English Premier League fixtures over the weekend.
Still haven't picked up a win this season. Burnley can always surprise you. Southampton are doing better, but still finding their way. They're still one of the potential teams that might go down at the end of the season.
I would not blink while watching. Wolves against Liverpool. Yes. I wouldn't blink.
Definitely.
If Liverpool blinks, they will punish them.
The truth is, I think Klopp is going to want to rack up as many wins as possible in this period. Hopefully win every game, because in January, thereabouts the top four will be how many games they've won now, how many points they've racked up that they can fall back on, and still he will find his way, but you know.
Okay, Watford travel to Manchester City, the Etihad Stadium.
Watford, if they played the way they played against Chelsea, they could still appoint. They could still appoint. Maybe even a win. Dennis is playing so well. So well.
By January, I think the whole world wants him.
Yes, and the truth is, Manchester City, I always feel that fatigue of doing the same thing, fatigue and overconfidence, complacency, tends to get to teams like Manchester City. And another thing, Pep Guardiola is so controlling. At a certain point, it's like it's going in one ear with the players and coming out the other. So too much.
It's like
control.
He doesn't care with the fatigue thing.
Too much control. Too much control can stifle creativity, and sometimes you need, in this December period, you need individual brilliance.
On a day like this, the new monsters in the English Premier League, and I pity Leeds United right now. Brentford come to Leeds United. Brentford is just one team. No big team wants to meet right now.
No. But you know what is beautiful about the Premier League is that in recent years, Brighton have come up. Recent years, Watford have come up. In recent years, we've gotten Brentford, we've gotten Leeds United, and all these teams don't look like they want to go back. They are pushing everybody else at the top.
Now, maybe we'll see the magic of Rangnick when Manchester United hosts Crystal Palace at Old Trafford.
Yes, it will be. I'm looking forward to Vieira's tactics. Every time I watch the Crystal Palace team play, I feel he
brings something different every day.
This team can go on to beat anybody on any day. True. And it's just going to be beautiful to see. And there's a possibility Ronaldo, having ran himself ragged the last match, may not start or may not even fit into the squad day.
It depends if, Ragnick can surprise you. Spurs host Norwich, and Spurs have played 3 matches, 1-2 under Conte. I think the man just has what is their key.
The Spurs under Conte is doing a lot better at getting the ball back, forcing transitions, and finding ways to win. They're not winning by huge margins, but they might still come to that.
Conte's Italian. He doesn't want 5 goals. Get my 3 points.
But at the same time, if you remember Tuchel, when he came in, Chelsea were winning 1-0, 2-0, 1-0, 2-0, and ultimately they're now here. They've improved to the point where they are capable of drumming Juventus 4-0. They're capable of beating anyone.
They catch a Man U before this guy came, like 7. Now, Syria claimed a 2-0 victory over 10-man Tunisia yesterday in the Arab Cup clash at the Al Bayat Stadium in Akkar. Now, Oliver Kaskawo opened the scoring in the 44th minute before midfielder Mohamed Amaz added Syria's second shortly after halftime. The favoured Tunisians, coming off a 5-1 victory against Mauritania, had Ali Ben Roudane sent off during first half stoppage time. The UAE sits top of Group B with 6 points after 2 games, 3 ahead of Tunisia and Syria, while Mauritania finds themselves bottom without a point.
Welcome Syria and Tunisia into the quite awesome Al Bayt Stadium in Al Khor. Trying to play out from the back, Tunisia. Referee says play on. Oh, and Syria lead. Oliver Kaskawo. A surprise early lead here for Syria. Question marks over the goalkeeper, Ben Mustafa. It's Tunisia straight onto the front foot. They've got a lot of variety in their attack. Some concern there for Anes. The on-pitch referee, Fernando Hernandez Gomez, is coming to the referee's review area.